In the West, rail projects are being cancelled or scaled down. But in China's Guizhou province, they're building some of the tallest bridges in the world. And they're using them to throw people off for fun. There is a saying in Chinese that goes, Yao xiang fu, xian xiu lu. If you want to get rich, build a road first. It's a bold strategy. But here in Guizhou, China, it's working. Long written off as China's backwater, Guizhou is now one of the country's fastest growing tourism economies. Once held back by its mountains, it's now using them as its biggest selling point. Over 92% of Guizhou is covered in mountains, and of course, no coast, no ports, and very, very few flatlands. In fact, in 2010, it had one of China's lowest GDP per capita. It wasn't just poor, it was isolated. But where others saw limitation, China saw opportunity. Guizhou became a testing ground for infrastructure innovation. Over 3,000 kilometers of expressways, motorways, high-speed railway through mountain tunnels, and 9 airports, including those sort of short-hop regional hubs. The total investment? Over 1 trillion RMB. That's over 138 billion US dollars in total infrastructure since 2010. This wasn't just spending, it was strategy.
You can see behind me, there are actually lots of tourists. Remember, this is actually a Tuesday. Quite a lot of people either coming here just to see the bridge or on their way, on the motorways, on the roads, stopping. 你好, hi.
你好。
从哪儿过来的今天？
今天是从这个织金洞。
织金洞啊，你是住在哪里？中国哪个地方？
江西九江。
哦，江西哈。是过来旅游吗？
对呀、
专门停下来看这个桥，是不是？
对。
我发现现在中国这方面做得很好，比如修个桥，不仅是一个这个交通的工具，也可以就是带动一点文旅的感觉，是不是？里面都有博物馆，对。我今天就是要拍这个视频，就是说什么带动这个本地的文旅。
你是哪个国家的？
我英国的。
哦，英国的。
但是我去过你们江西好地方，南昌是不是？景德镇。
对。
我很喜欢景德镇。
那你为啥没去过九江呢？
啊，没去过。
南昌和景德镇，我们九江就在南昌和景德镇中间呀。
哎呀，好玩吗？
好玩，一个庐山。
好的，该去哈，下一次 next time，谢谢你，好，玩开心哈。People are very friendly here, just chatting to someone there from Jiangxi, and she's on holiday, and it literally is a tourist site. It's an incredible thing, a bridge becomes a tourist site, especially because they've got so many bridges here in Guizhou, but they are tourist sites, and that's the whole point, and that's what I was discussing with them. It's not just about building roads, transportation, but also the tourist economy that comes with it. 拍个照，耶！
是哪个国家的？
我是英国的。
英国的。
您是从哪儿过来的？
我是江西赣。
你也是江西的？
江西。
你们是一个团吗？江西团吗？我刚才那位女士也是江西的。
我们是自驾游过来的。
哦，自驾游过来的。
江西赣州。
感觉贵州怎么样？
凉爽。
凉爽哈。
赣州好热。
江西好热是不是？
江西好热，但是南昌都4大火。
我从四川过来，四川也很热。
四川成县那边都好热，是贵州两个。
very开心哈，谢谢。It's great. People are literally here on holiday. It's proving my point. I'm very happy about that. It's proving my point. You know, I think a lot of videos, whether from my videos or other people's videos, you talk a lot, but you know, where is the proof? The proof is very much in this pudding, in this bridge pudding. You know, people on holiday taking photos. Wonderful to see. So I'm literally in a gift shop attached to a bridge, or I should say a gift shop attached to a bridge with a museum. I mean, that's the whole point of the video today, turning the terrain, the difficulty of Guizhou and sort of using it to their advantage. These bridges are now part of the tourism, the bungee jumping, the parachuting off a bridge, and of course a gift shop with children behind me and parents buying them gifts and me getting a gift as well. This is a fridge magnet of the bridge, 25 RMB. So it's working. At least it's working for 25 RMB. No, it's working for a lot more money.
With access finally in place, Guizhou leaned into adventure and eco-tourism. The Beipanjiang Bridge became a bungee jumping site. The Qinglong River Valley turned into a whitewater rafting hub, and mountainsides opened for rock climbing. Lakes now offer kayaking and stand-up paddleboarding, and if you're into it, zip lining. So alongside those, new boutique hotels and eco-resorts popped up around each destination. In fact, recently when I was kayaking and others were climbing up the mountainside, there was this wonderful, almost like a James Bond-esque hotel, a boutique hotel, I think about $200, $300 a night. And the whole, you could, right off the mountain, you could see the whole of the sort of valley. It was really, really beautiful.
Right now, I'm on my way to Guizhou, and you can ride from Chengdu to Guiyang in just over 3 hours. A journey that used to take almost a full day. The high-speed train cuts across ravines and burrows through mountains. Speeds average 240 kilometers an hour, and yet the ride is very smooth enough, in fact, to sip some tea. These trains have made Guizhou weekend accessible from megacities like Chengdu, Guangzhou, and of course Chongqing next door. And that means more tourists more often, with less stress and more spontaneity. We just went through a tunnel.
In 2023, Guizhou welcomed over 800 million tourist visits, bringing in over 1 trillion RMB. That's over 140 billion US dollars in revenue. And that was just the beginning. In 2024, things accelerated even further. Tourist visits increased 10.4% year on year, and tourism revenue rose 13.3%, surpassing 1.2 trillion RMB. And overnight stays skyrocketed by 81%. So that's not just casual sightseeing, that's long stay tourism, creating real economic activity. And I wanted to point that out because I think a lot of you might think these bridges and some of the other infrastructure projects are just along the motorway or literally a part of the highway, and the people are just stopping, taking a few photos and going. And of course that's part of it, but there are other parts of it where people are stopping, finding the local hotel and spending the night. That's spending real money in the economy. And by the way, Guizhou in 2023 and in 2024 was either number 1 or number 2, the highest revenue, tourism revenue in the whole of China. That's competing with big hitters. That's competing with Beijing and all the wonderful sites they have there. That's competing with Shanghai and all the wonderful things they have there. Guizhou is doing it for real with tourism. Guizhou is building a 4-season tourism economy. In winter, you've got the hot spring resorts and the ethnic New Year festival. And in spring, you've got the wildflower, the hiking routes, and the scenic photography tours. It's really, really popular in China. Everyone's got a great camera these days. And in autumn, of course, you've got the harvest-themed travel and traditional village visits. In fact, I've got one of those videos. Check it out. No off-season, no downtime. Just consistent visitor flow and income. That's the key, isn't it? And while much of China roasts in 40+ degrees in the summer heat, Guizhou averages some 25 degrees Celsius thanks to its elevation. In fact, Guiyang now markets itself as a natural air conditioner, and it's working. So in 2024, summer bookings rose over 45% compared to pre-pandemic levels. For urban Chinese travelers, and me, Guizhou has become the ultimate summer escape. Guys, I spend most of my time in Sichuan and in Chengdu. Very, very humid, very, very hot. Recently I was in Jiangsu and in Nanjing watching the football there. Incredibly hot. I mean, incredibly hot. They say there are the 3 furnaces of China. In fact, I won't tell you guys. Please put in the comments below. Do you know what the 3 furnace cities of China are? I'll tell you one of them. Nanjing and Jiangsu is one of them. There are 2 more. Tell me in the comments below. But it's incredibly hot all over China. Those 3 cities are furnaces. Everywhere's really, really hot. So coming to Guizhou, average about 25 degrees. It's beautiful. So it's a 4-season tourism economy, but in the summer, everyone's gone to Guizhou, including me. I've got my sunglasses on because it's a bit sunny. That's nice, isn't it? Guizhou is home to 17 ethnic minority groups, and the government has leaned into cultural tourism. In Rongjiang County, where the village Super League, the Chunchao soccer tournament, or as I would say, football tournament, went viral, where over 16.9 million visitors came in 2024 just to watch the local football. And it generated over 19 billion RMB in tourism income. And then in Taijiang County, home to the major Miao festivals, tourism has surged over 32% in just the first half of 2024, and it rose in the latter half, of course, as well. And that brought in over 2 billion RMB, and that was only in, 6-7 months. You know, tourism isn't just lifting GDP, it's reviving forgotten villages. And guys, I'll try to put a link to my video that I made last year in Guizhou, in one of those villages. It was an incredible experience. I think the video is pretty good, but hopefully what came across was just how welcoming and how much fun it was. Yes, it's part of the tourism activity, I get it, they're not going to be my best friends for life, but it's a wonderful, wonderful day. It's a wonderful way to learn about the culture. You're there with the people, local produce, local goods, local food, local people taking you around. It's one thing going to a museum, it's another thing going to a local village. So that's what Guizhou's leaning into as well, and it's doing it really, really well. Now, I'm not one of those guys that says China is great no matter what, and the West is terrible or dying. For me, it's not as simple as that, and I think those people, well, they just take extreme views for likes. It's a form of clickbait. And that's the same for me on my Chinese social channels, platforms, and my international platform. But I do want to bring up some recent news in the US and in the UK, because I find it all very disappointing, especially after what I know and now what you can see around us. It's such a success story, what they've done across China, and Guizhou is just one of the examples. You know, long-term planning and infrastructure investment can bring great rewards, but you need the long-term commitment and the effort to see the results. So what am I talking about? Well, in the US and the UK, rail development is shrinking. So HS2 has been cut from its original plans, and just recently in the news I saw that California's high-speed railway has lost federal funding. But let's look at Guizhou, let's look at China. They've built the roads, they've built the railways, the high-speed railway, and they've built the bridges. Look behind me. So they're reaping the rewards right now. And again, it goes back to that Chinese saying, 要想富，先修路. If you want to get rich, build the road first. And I think the US, the UK, and everyone around the world can look towards China and study what China is doing, because so far it really is a success story. Guizhou didn't flatten its mountains, it embraced them. It didn't chase factories, it welcomed people. And in doing so, it turned nature into value, not through destruction, but through experience. This isn't just a tourism success story, it's a blueprint for inclusive, green and long-term economic growth. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please do hit a like button and subscribe. Guys, this is me in Guizhou, 2 hours outside of Guiyang, the provincial capital. It's been excellent to record on these videos on the ground. I thought it was really important, especially with this topic, because this is, of course, embracing the local economy and the tourism economy. It was great to see, even though I didn't bungee jump. That's the truth, guys. I'm very welcoming of everyone who wants to do that, and I think it's great fun, but bungee jumping a bit too much for me. But I am looking forward to a bit of kayaking, a bit of whitewater rafting. There's so much to do and see here. I know it sounds like this whole video has been an advert for Guizhou. It isn't. It's more of a deep dive into what you can do with your terrain, with your local, your natural habitat, if you're willing to invest. And as I said, I think this is a lesson for everyone around the world. Put the money, put the time in, and you will reap the rewards. Guys, if you do get a chance, come to Guizhou. It's a brilliant place, very cool in the summer. But from me, Toby, here in Guizhou, that's a wrap. See you soon. Bye-bye.